it's all about the fabric. So I'm beginning a new shift dress design with this beautiful rayon and linen fabric in this lime green color that just screams summertime. So for this dress design, I'm only going to need 4 pieces of my self-drafted shift dress. I have the back piece, I have the front piece, and I also have the facing for the front as well as the back. This dress most likely will not have a lining fabric to go with it because this fabric, it's actually, it's pretty opaque. And again, it's summertime, so I think it'll be okay, but I'll decide, you know, once I go forward. Okay, so you should have 4 pattern pieces cut out. I have the shift dress front, the back, and both facing pieces here. And you want to make sure that you transfer all of your notches. You can see the T's that I have marked here on the pattern. That's where the shoulder one would be here. That's for the armhole. I have a little notch there for each of the dart points. You also want to mark your bust point here of the new dart. And of course, I've decided to only use one dress since this is semi-fitted, and transfer both of those darts onto your face fabric. And once that's done, it's time to begin construction. Okay, so my next step in the order of construction, I want to start with, of course, marking all of my notches on the pattern. I've done the back piece as well as the back facing. Moving on to the front piece, you want to mark your darts as well as the dart, the notches here. You want to mark the your longer dart here, and then you want to sew up the darts. And once you've done that, we're going to move to constructing sewing the front to the back. And this is just a demo of sewing the dart. You're going to follow that all the way to the dart tip. And you just want to sew off. And typically I do not sew over my pins, but for demonstration purposes, you just want to cut your thread long. Okay, so at this stage, you should have both of your darts completed, the bust darts, as well as the long, I think they're called the fisheye darts. And we'll be moving on to the next order of construction. Okay, so the first order of construction with the front piece, you have your front portion of the dress, and then you have your front facing. Just want to make sure with the fabric that you've chosen, you know that you've labeled right from wrong. So I want to place both of the shoulder pieces of the facing right sides together with the front of the dress, and you're going to place the V-neck portion of your facing along with the V-neck portion of your dress, and you're going to pin all around this area, and you're also going to stitch. This is your armhole area here. You're following it around to the shoulder. Again, that's the neckline, shoulder, with additional armhole. So you're going to stitch from the armhole area all the way up, going all the way around the neck, around to the shoulder, around and down the armhole, stopping before the second bust dart. And then you're going to flip all of that facing to the inside of the dress, and that's going to give us a nice clean finish to the inside. You can also choose to finish the edges of this portion here with either your serger or a zigzag of your choice. Okay, so this is the front portion of the dress. The facing has been sewn on and attached as well, as you can see here. And on the back, we're going to do the same thing. Sew the darts together. So you'll see your fisheye dart sewn, and then we're going to stitch the back seam together. So right sides together of the back piece of the dress from the top all the way, we're going to leave, I think I had on the pattern about 9 inches from the top to about here that I left open, that's marked for where the zipper is going to be. So wherever you mark where the zipper stop was going to be, you're going to either leave that area open or you could base that area, and then the rest of it is going to close in the seam. So sorry about that confusion. So the darts of the back area, right sides together, you're going to leave the amount open with that seam open, the allowance of your zipper, and I think the pattern called for about a 1/2 inch there, stitching the rest closed. And then, of course, including the back facing, you're going to stitch that all around the inside, just like you did on the right. Okay, so I've moved on to the back portion of the dress, getting ready to install the invisible zipper. I have my seam allowance pressed open here and stitched below. This is where the zipper is going to stop, and I do apologize. I think I mentioned a 7 to a 9 inch zipper. This is actually a 22 to 24 inch zipper for this pattern. So I've folded back that seam allowance here. I have some stabilizer tape to help hold that zipper, and I'm going to place my zipper in, center zipper, invisible. And then I'll be moving on to stitching the facing around the perimeter of the neckline, as well as the shoulder and the armhole, just like in the front, right sides together, flip everything in, and then you'll decide how you want to finish off your facing, and that's that piece here. You can kind of get a look of it. You're gonna finish that bottom portion with either a zigzag or your serger. So this is the placement for my zipper. I have right sides together on top of that seam allowance, and I'm going to stitch it all the way down on both sides of the seam allowance. And remember, I will be putting a facing, so everything that's exposed here at the top will be concealed. And this is how I sew my invisible zipper. I have my seam allowance open, my zipper is face down. I have on my invisible zipper foot, and I'm going to roll the teeth back as I stitch. Try to get as close as possible to the teeth. I'll just back stitch there at the top. And that's a look at the stitches here. Okay, and here is my invisible zipper. The only thing that you can see is the zipper pull. And everything else at the top, again, will be concealed with the facing. Okay, so here I have the front and the back of the dress pinned together at the sides, and I'm going to stitch just a regular straight 1/2 inch according to the pattern along both of the side seams. And when you're done with that, the last thing you want to do is to finish the top, and that's stitching the shoulder straps together of your choice, how you want to finish that, and then of course your hem. And I'll probably go with a 1 inch hem here at the bottom. I may do a blind stitch, I'm not sure yet, or may just do a regular stitch. But once you're at this point, you are fully done. That's the top. You can see the top of my zipper there, and that's the facing part. Let's turn that back for you to kind of see. The inside, again, is just kind of unfinished, but it's just a little summer dress. It was not a full lining, but I think it's coming out really cute. I think I may even just do buttons at the top for the closure of the straps, just something different. Okay, so we're at the final stages here. The sides have been sewn up. I went ahead and just finished off all of my facing with just my serger, but you can also use a zigzag. Again, the inside is unfinished. There's no lining, so the zipper will be exposed on the inside. And I've chosen to just go and did the buttonholes here, and I finished that off with just a button. So I'm going to do that to the other side as well. Finish my hem, of which I went with an 1.5 inches, and be fully done.